Well, Razorback fans, we've heard that the funding for the new head coach of Arkansas will be one that is well-funded, funded better than ever before. But what is that actually going to look like? Well, let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday as we're getting closer to the weekend. And we know that with A&M coming to town, I'm going to kind of do a segment that I normally do. Maybe not as ideal as it's been in previous years, but why I hate Texas A&M. I'm sure that'll go over really well. And then also the report of another SEC school that is going to be firing, or more than likely going to be firing, their head coach, and the impact that it has on Arkansas. But we begin today with a certain topic that I think on our Inside Arkansas Discord, as well as people on Twitter, the discussions being had about the coaching search and just the things involving it, the things involving the names getting around and all of that. And some people who, of course, feel passionately about one name and may not care about another name. You know, it's all over the place. But the thing that I have felt very strongly about since jump about the coaching search for all of this is none of it's going to matter unless you have full support financially for the next head coach. I don't understand why Sam Pittman was not funded the way that he should have been. I think there may be reasons to it in theory. But even if he wasn't being funded the way he should have been, then you should have found someone who would be. I don't understand. I don't think anybody understands really what's going on half the time at the U of A and the athletic department, but it's neither here nor there. But now you need to find a new coach. And for all intents and purposes, the new coach, regardless of who it is, has to be to that level. Now, my understanding is that there's going to be a massive push in the NIL rev share game, however you want to put it, that will put Arkansas into the top half of the SEC when it comes to that funding. Top 8. My understanding is that you have certain individuals that are willing to fork over a lot of money for that. Maybe some businesses, maybe some companies. There are people willing to do it. But what you have to have, more so than anything, is you got to have everybody on board with whoever that coach is. And whoever that coach is has to be able to politic their way into gaining the trust, to gaining the relationship, to gaining the bond for those that are willing to pay for it. Now, some of you are probably listening to this and be like, that is ridiculously boring and I don't care about playing the politics game. It's kind of like watching the Star Wars Episode 1 and you're seeing nothing but like the political discourse going on. It's like, you just want to watch sports. You don't care about the rest of that stuff. It's like, it's true. But there's no doubt that even if you get a great coach, a big name coach, and whoever that may be, James Franklin, John Sumrall, Alex Golish, whoever that you want, none of it is going to matter if you don't have the financial support. And so you start having to weigh your options a little bit. Does the financial support come with or have to be balanced out by the salary and the coaching staff and how much that's going to cost? Is there somebody willing to fork over that much money for the coaching staff and for the financial support? Is it going to have to come out of one or the other? If you get a coach for cheaper, are you going to be able to give more money to NIL. Like there's this whole balancing game that goes on. And this is really where it comes into play because maybe for the first time, at least in my recent memory, the money are the ones that's making the hire here. The money's doing it, not one individual like an athletic director, not a board of trustee deal. It's the money. And when the money is going to make the hire, the money is going to be the ones that are saying, all right, well, here's what we're willing to do. And here's how far we're willing to go. And here's who we want to be in the driver's seat. There's not going to be any excuses this time. It is of my opinion that the money has been burned too many times ever since the firing of Bobby Petrino. You think about it. Brett Bielema at Arkansas was funded and supported financially incredibly. He made a great salary. The coaching staff that he assembled garnered a large salary base. It was given to him. They did all of these things. And, of course, had all the extracurricular stuff go along with it. Throw in the fact that they were even towards the end of his tenure agreed and had this building and the renovations or the expansion of the Razorback Stadium in the North End Zone was all based on Bielema. And what did that give the moneymakers and the money donors? Nothing. No success on the field. So much so that they did not trust Jeff Long anymore or Brett Bielema, and so they both were fired. Then you have the situation come in with, Yurchek and Chad Morris, which I think was just, kind of a sucky situation for everybody involved. But you ended up making a change there, and you brought in Sam Pittman. And I think under the way that it was approached was that, hey, Sam Pittman was the only one that wanted the job. Folks, that's a bold-faced lie. If anybody ever tells you that Sam Pittman was the only one that wanted the job, that is a lie. There were quite a few coaches that were interested in the gig. It was just a matter of if they were willing to play the game for the gig. And they weren't, apparently. But they were trusted. They was like, hey, this is the guy. And even with the Muss situation, I think the people that went in with the NIL in the final year got burned a little bit. But then the Pittman deal, it's like, why are we doing this? Why are we funding money into this when it's not happening? Pittman's not a politician. He doesn't care about us. He's not shaking hands with us. And I know that sounds stupid to y'all, but it's true. As a head coach, especially with the football program, you have to be able to do those things. Especially if you're struggling, especially if you're lacking in it. You got to be able to massage the right muscles, if you know what I mean. Pittman wasn't willing to do that. And so I think that this is the first time, and again, this is my opinion on the matter, folks. My opinion. This is the time when really the money is grabbing the bull by the balls and going to say, this is what we can do, willing to do, and we're not going to no longer entrust it into people who keep telling us that it's going to be better, that it's going to be okay, that's going to work out, and then it doesn't. We're tired of just burning money for all of this. Then it gives us nothing in return. And I think the John Calipari hire with John Tyson may have woke up a lot of those donors and those people of saying, this is how you surpass it. This is how you get what you want. You just go and do it. You just go and do it. And then get everybody on board. I'm really hoping that's what happens this year and in this coaching search. It's not to say you'll get a level of Calipari in the football coaching search. I'm not trying to say that. But it will be something that you can maybe have some hope in. But I'm telling you right now, as much as many of you may not like to agree to it or admit to it or anything like that, I'm of the belief that Bobby Petrino is still the clubhouse front runner because he is somebody that these donors and these big money makers trust. You may think that's stupid. I'm just telling you. Familiarity and trust because there's a belief that this is a guy who is hungry. This is a guy who's willing to use a competitor, who's the ultra competitor, who's not going to get fat and happy and just blow his money, who's not going to be anti NIL or anti things because it's not fair. No, this is going to be somebody that's going to do whatever it takes to win. And that's the type of coach you need. I'm not saying Petrino needs to be the guy. I don't want to reiterate that. But there are people that make money, have money, and are willing to put up money that believe in Petrino and believe what he is able to do and what he's capable of doing. So the point in the question all becomes of, will this coach be well-funded, whoever it ends up being? Folks, my belief is yes. Yes, this coach will be extremely well-funded. This coach will be in the top 8, the top half of the SEC when it comes to funding and financial support. The biggest key to all of this, folks, is getting whoever the coach may be and whoever the coach who they want to buy into it and to sell them on it and saying, hey, if you come here, you're going to be set up for success. Because that's what every coach wants. And I know some of you will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. But I would rather have a coach like a Bobby Petrino, for instance, where you have the utmost amount of NIL and financial support, than I would a big-time heavy hitter coach like a James Franklin or a John Sumrall or John Gruden and not have as much financial support in the NIL and everything. That's just how I view it. That's just how I view it. But as I've said many times before, millionaires, billionaires, rich people in general, they didn't become rich by being stupid with money. If they're going to invest, they're going to invest, and they're going to do it happily because it's what they want to do, but also they want that ROI. They want that return on investment. But whatever they end up doing, it's going to be done their way this time. I'm going to tell you why I hate Texas A&M on the other side of the break. Sure, all of you care about that. Sure, all you Aggies are going to be in there talking about it too, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, when the opening whistle blows for a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time industry and honest lead times help you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. If you need parts for a project, Supply House has the next day delivery, and talk about a game changer, folks. The part finder and tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on the job where every detail truly matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process a lot smoother as well. So join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5. That's SHCollege5 for 5% off your order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. We're also presented by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season's here, college football's here, and FanDuel has an offer that you will not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting, and whether you're a casual fan or if you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started. All right, moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So I haven't been able to do this as much. I didn't get to do it for Tennessee last week, although it would have been perfect for that because I know a lot of people, have their own feelings and everything. So, I don't know. It's funny to do this in general because I feel like people may take it too seriously of the opposing teams, of the opposing programs, but I just like to have fun with it. So I wanted to bring it back while there was a little bit of slowness going on with the coaching search and everything. But it's why I hate Texas A&M. Arkansas plays Texas A&M this weekend. And honestly, I could probably do an entire segment of a show every day on the show and talk about this. But I don't know. It's almost seems like low-hanging fruit, doesn't it? Why do you hate Texas A&M? Well, I hate their signals and stuff and the weird cult-like behavior that they have. It's like, it's almost just so cliche at this point. It's low-hanging fruit for me. It's like I've never seen, it's something so strange where they have so much money. Literally so much money. Such a massive fan base. Such a passionate fan base. But yet, little to no championship level success in any of the major sports, as well as just weirdness to go along with it. Like I don't like them because of the fact that if you went to a game, here's kind of how I can like really sum it up. If you went to a game, for a Razorback game, for instance, and you were not a Razorback fan, you had no idea about the Razorbacks, you had no idea about calling the Hogs or anything like that, I feel like you could fit in fairly well just kind of going with the flow of everything, right? I mean, that's how I feel. You just be able to be like, hey, yeah, here I am, just hanging out and join the game. And it's like, oh, you do this, woo, okay, yeah, you do this, all right, yeah, big suit, all right, I got it, good to go. But if you were just somebody who was not a Texas A&M fan and you went to Kyle Field in College Station and you walked in and you were just sitting there, it's like, all right, let's see what goes on, let's see this game. There's so many things going on that you couldn't even participate. Because then it's like, if you start doing this thing, they'll be like, hey, what class are you, buddy? What? Freshman, sophomore? What are you? I mean, anything you got to do it down here if you're one of those. Okay. Can't do it up here. You're not allowed to do that yet. Or whatever it is that they have. So you have that. You have the fact that if you have to go to classes, if you have to have classes on how to do things to participate as a fan during the game, it's strange, man. And apparently, the Aggie midnight yell, what they do, they bring it on the road. Apparently, they're doing it at Arvez Ballpark Friday night, I believe. It's either Thursday night or Friday night. Folks, please don't go and crash that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That would be so rude. I mean, we're classier than that. Please do not crash them at Arvez Ballpark with the midnight yell later this week. Don't do that. But they have this whole thing that goes on the road, and they make the corny jokes, and they wear the overalls, and they put their arms around each other, and they have the cadets that are doing things, and they have the towel waving, and it's just, man, so much going on there. And honestly, the redeeming quality of them is that the fact that they do have so much money and so many fans, because if they didn't, man, no one would be a part of that. No one would want to be a part of that. No conference would want to be a part of that. But luckily they have money. They're kind of like that rich kid at school, where it's like he's weird as can be and he's socially awkward. He makes the lamest jokes. He doesn't laugh at your jokes. He goes over there and like plays with his crayons and breaks them in half and tears the paper off of them and then like makes chess pieces out of them. It's just like, what's going on over there? But then you find out that he has like the coolest house and he's got like all the best toys. So you kind of deal with him because it's like, well, okay. He's got cool stuff. It's kind of like what A&M reminds me of, like in the SEC. It's just like they're that kid. They're the rich kids. You don't really like them, but they give you something. They give you money. They do have a big fan base. So either way, I could spend so much time talking about why I hate A&M and why I can't stand everything about them and everything that goes on. It's really been about losing to them as much as Arkansas has, especially in the way that they have. It's like every game has just come down to the wire. Arkansas has found so many unique ways to lose, and just in general, but like every year it happens. You've beaten them once since the Bush administration, I feel like. Well, actually, I guess it's the Obama administration, but still, it's been a long time. I don't know if it's going to change this weekend, but man, I can't stand all the nonsense that comes along with them. And the dog, I know apparently the dog passed away, and I'm not trying to make light of that, so don't take it too seriously. I just don't understand whenever it's put up on the big screen or whatever, the place goes nuts, louder than like if Johnny Manziel was put up there. A&M just goes crazy for the collie. Listen, I love Tusk too. Like, I like Tusk, but I'm not going to go nuts when he's on the screen like that. Like if I just saw Darren McFadden on the screen. Anyways, I hate him. Man, because I lose to him all the time. Maybe that changes this weekend. We'll see. Another coach, though, about to bite the dust in the SEC. Talk about it. Stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply just move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anybody else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how they craft every single model, and you can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls. Like our players, we sweat every detail because we know when you make every move count, it's impossible to become irrelevant. It's Mazda. Move and be moved. Okay, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. There was a report coming out that came from Yahoo, I believe, and others started reporting it too, that if things go badly for Florida this weekend because they're playing Mississippi State, that Billy Napier would get the axe. Get fired because there are bye weeks next week, as we all know. The rule has to be you fire your coach heading into the bye week. Gives you the most time to prepare. Arkansas knows a little bit about that. But apparently that's what's going to be going down if it goes badly against Mississippi State. And there's even some people that believe that even if it does go okay against Mississippi State, even if Florida does beat Mississippi State, that Billy Napier will be fired no matter what. So, which is a bummer because if you're somebody that's out there trying to compete for hiring a new coach and everything, then, you know, like Arkansas is, Florida's definitely one of those big time jobs that, you know, is better than your job and better than most jobs in the SEC or even the country, to be honest. So if that happens, though, here's my thing. If you're Florida, go and offer Lane Kiffin the job. Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss for Florida. I firmly believe that. Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss for Florida. And to me, that, folks, would be the best case scenario for a place like Arkansas. You know why? Because Ole Miss suddenly wouldn't have Lane Kiffin anymore. Lane Kiffin's what's making Ole Miss. Plain and simple. Give him credit. But he's the reason why they're being so successful. And they have Georgia this weekend. And if they beat Georgia, they better be in the playoff. But I just think that this is an easy get for Florida. From my understanding, all they got to do is offer the job to Lane, and he'll take it. I would. And that's not me coming out Ole Miss. That's me being, if I was a Razorback fan and Lane Kiffin was Arkansas's coach, I would be very scared that he would take the Florida job. It's a better gig, plain and simple. Now, what would he do there? Would he win a championship? Maybe. He'd be set up for it. But if you're an Arkansas fan, or if you're a fan of any of these schools, but mainly if you're an Arkansas fan and Florida does fire Billy Napier, you better hope that's the case. You better hope that it's Lane Kiffin, because that way you get, like, dealing with Lane Kiffin over at Florida, you're not going to play him as often. Well, I guess you will play him as often as some. But that's like a misnomer. That's fine. But you'd rather have it to where your Ole Miss kind of reverts back to being, and then it's a lot less to compete against. And you're being like, that's a loser mentality. I don't care. I want other schools to suffer. I want other schools to have problems. So that would be the best case scenario. But Florida, I don't know. Did they go for James Franklin? Did they go for, Sumrall? I mean, did they hire another Louisiana coach from Group of 5? That's what they did with Napier and didn't work out. No, do they do that? Do they try to hire somebody like Gruden? I don't know. But Florida's a really good job. It's really scary. Hopefully they don't end up having any success with it, but still something to be mindful of. That is for sure. Appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Nabors Show for any questions, comments, concerns you may have. We'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.